On April 12, 1861, the Confederate firing of cannons larger than those at Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina, forced the surrender of the fort by the trapped Union soldiers. This battle started the Civil War. The Union had more naval warships than the Confederates. This allowed Union Commander Winfield Scott to devise the Anaconda Plan to close all the southern ports to restrict the buying and selling of goods needed by the Confederates to fight the war. The Confederates realized that building a fighting navy would be difficult in the South with the Union forces in close proximity. They decided to have the Laird Brothers shipyard in Birkenhead, United Kingdom, construct a fighting ship for them. The ship would later be known as the Css Alabama. Great Britain had made an earlier agreement with America to stay out of the war. With Confederate ships being made there, Great Britain had to pay a $16 million penalty after the war for ignoring the agreement. British sailors took the finished ship to the Azores Islands. A new crew was installed there of both English and Confederate sailors. The English sailors were promised shares of gold and prize money from captured ships. The Alabama would be commanded by Captain Raphael Semmes. After loading supplies for the long voyage across the Atlantic Ocean, they departed the islands, heading west towards America. Their first encounter took place at Martha's Vineyard. They captured a whaling ship located there. They made prisoners of the whaling ship crew, and they burned the whaling ship to keep it out of the Union Navy. During the next 2 weeks, more whaling ships were attacked. Supplies were removed from the ships, and the crews were taken as prisoners. Captain Semmes soon had a crew of 150 men. Most of the captured ships were burned. Along the eastern coast of the United States, the Alabama had managed to capture a dozen trading vessels. Then the Alabama encountered a hurricane. It survived the rough voyage and headed south. Skipping New England and New York, the Alabama headed to the Gulf of Mexico, arriving at Galveston, Texas. It lured the USS Hatteras gunboat to sea, posing as a Confederate blockade runner. The Hatteras approached the Alabama after dark. The Alabama identified itself as a British ship, and when the Hatteras drew near it, it was sunk by cannon fire at close range. The Alabama then headed toward Brazil, capturing more enemy ships along the way. In the summer of 1863, the Alabama headed toward Cape Town, South Africa. Off the Brazilian coast, it captured the Conrad ship carrying a cargo of wool and goat skins. Captain Semmes armed the new vessel and renamed it the CSS Tuscaloosa. They made the journey together to Cape Town, South Africa. More supplies were added there. The Alabama then headed east to the Indian Ocean, where a cyclone nearly destroyed it. After surviving the cyclone, it captured only a half-dozen ships, and then passing by Singapore, it headed to Pulo Condori, an island belonging to Vietnam, where the crew made temporary repairs to the deteriorating hull. The crew became mutinous, and the officers on board began wearing sidearms. In 1864, Captain Semmes made a decision to take the Alabama to Cherbourg, France, for repairs. During this time, the USS Kearsarge sailed from the Netherlands and anchored off Cherbourg Harbor. Captain Semmes, approaching Cherbourg, took the Alabama out to sea to fight the smaller USS Kearsarge. A cannon shot from the Alabama landed near the stern post of the Kearsarge, but did not explode. The Alabama then sent a cannonball into the hull at the center of the ship. They did not know that chains had been installed, and the shot did little damage. The Kearsarge answered with shot and shell, finally sinking the Alabama. The CSS Alabama would be fondly remembered by the Confederates for its global coverage and its many victories.